formally start the event, we would like to present before you a short video of KCC. Here.
In the 1920s, Mangalore was a quaint little town. But in 1927, a group of visionary rice merchants had a bold idea. Post-independence, KCCI played a pivotal role in the economic development of the region. It was responsible for construction of National Highway 17 and river crossing bridges connecting Mumbai to Kerala through Mangalore, fostering economic growth. The tireless efforts of U. Srinivas Malya and V.S. Kudava led to the establishment of the new Mangalore port, the gateway to Karnataka. This strategic move further boosted import-export trade and positioned Mangalore as a thriving hub of commerce. Recognizing the importance of efficient connectivity, KCCI played a pivotal role in the expansion of Mangalore Airport. This opened new avenues for international trade, enhancing the region's economic potential. In 2000, KCCI signed memorandums of understanding with ONGC and KIADB to establish the Mangalore Special Economic Zone. This initiative attracted investment and promoted industries in the region, creating a favorable environment for businesses to thrive. KCCI advocated for the establishment of CEOL, the Center for Entrepreneurship Opportunities and Learning. This IT incubator center became a catalyst for innovation and the growth of startup businesses. KCCI established a full-fledged alternative dispute resolution center, providing a platform for businesses to resolve disputes amicably. KCCI actively imparts knowledge in areas such as income tax, customs, GST, labor laws, PF and ESI, and export promotion, empowering the district's business community. KCCI has been advocating for better connectivity to major cities like Mangalore and Mumbai, facilitating business growth and collaboration. KCCI focuses on constructing affordable IT parks, promoting startup businesses, bridging the gap between industry and academia, encouraging family businesses, and progressing towards Industry 4.0. KCCI, empowering enterprise, facilitating growth.
I now request the KCCI President, CA Abbakka Prabhu, to present the welcome address.
Good evening to each one of you here today. We have all gathered here for a tailored business workshop whose theme is unlocking this potential. The purpose of this workshop is to give insights to help take businesses to the next level, and to take us through this workshop, we have with us three eminent speakers, and it is my privilege to introduce each one of you to the august audience. At the outset, I would like to welcome Shri Bhugal T. He is a senior consultant at Tally Solutions. He will be speaking on the topic skyrocketing your business to the next level. On behalf of KCCI, I would like to present bouquet as a token of our gratitude. I would also like to welcome Shri Sushant Shetty, the SVP and Head, Channel Liabilities, DPS Bank India. A warm welcome to you. A warm welcome to lastly, all our directors, members and other participants. Thank you for coming here.
I request the KCCI Vice President, Sri Anand Pai, to introduce today's speakers, Sri Bhugal T. Sri Sushant Shetty and Sri Shreyas Bharadwaj to the audience, please.
It's my pleasure to introduce to you all three key individuals who will share their years of valuable experience and leadership in their concerned sectors this afternoon's workshop. Sri Pugalti is a senior consultant at Tally Solutions Private Limited. Tally Solutions is an Indian multinational technology company that provides enterprise resource planning software. It is headquartered in Bangalore. Mr. Pugal has 37 years of wide-ranging experience in field of accounts, finance, strategy and training. His formal qualification is BCom from Bangalore University, intermediate level in ICAI and business management from IIM Chennai. He has conducted over 300 GST domain sessions for various stakeholders like chartered accountants, tax practitioners, Tally's partner ecosystem. He created over 60 train the trainers under his leadership. He has also conducted faculty development program for college professors and faculty across India. With the introduction of VAT in UAE, he conducted 3 sessions for ICAI Dubai and over 10 sessions for the ecosystem in the Emirates of Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Sri Pugal has conducted over 150 ICAI chapter events on Tally's statutory model and audit tool. We are very happy to have you here this afternoon. Sri Sushant Shetty. He is SVP and Head of Channel Liabilities at DBS Bank India. Development Bank of Singapore Limited has been in India for over 26 years, having opened its first office in Mumbai in 1994. DBS Bank India Limited is first among the large foreign banks in India to start operating as a wholly owned, locally incorporated subsidiary of leading global bank. Mr. Sushant has been instrumental in driving business change focused on growth of corporates and SMEs through impactful strategic partnership and integration with business tech ecosystem. In his career spanning 19 years spent across top MNC banks including DBS Bank India, Mr. Sushant has been a great advocate of customer centricity right from product conception to customer experience. We are delighted to have you here this afternoon. Sri Shreyas Bharadwaj, Account Director ESMB South India Salesforce. Salesforce is world's most trusted customer relationship management CRM platform. Customer 360 suite products unites your sales, service, marketing, commerce and IT team with a single shared view of customer information so that your company can become a customer company. Mr. Shreyas is an experienced professional with a rich journey spanning over 8 years. Throughout his career, he has delved into various facets of technology industry from infrastructure as a service and software as a service to the critical team of cybersecurity. What has consistently fueled his passion is the opportunity to support startups and micro, small and medium enterprises in their growth endeavors. Over the last 4 years, he had the privilege of being part of Salesforce, where he focused on catering to the emerging small and medium business segment in the vibrant South Indian market. Thank you for being a part of today's workshop and we are happy to have you here this afternoon. Now I request our speakers to take over and share your knowledge.
I request the first speaker of today's session, Sri Pugal to
It's a very long, hot day. Can I start? On the outskirts of Mangalore, there was a government high school. It's like something like the way we are sitting now. Post-lunch session that was going on, and we all know how the post-lunch session happens. So, teacher was conducting class, and that day he was teaching language. The subject was language Kannada, and that particular day he was teaching the Sita Swayamvar topic on Sita Swayamvar. Taking the class, and the student was supposed to be listening. They were just listening. Suddenly a DEO walks in. So the DO walks into the classroom. I think I speak to Sita Swayamvar class very there. Then he looks around the classroom and then he points at a boy who is sitting in the last bench. And we all know how the last benches are. Right? So he asks him, so when he told him, how the last bench stands up. Very slowly this guy stands up. And the DO asks him, Shivadanushna yaru hodakittu? ನಾನು ಏನು ಕೇಳಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತೇನಪ್ಪ, ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದ್ದು? ದೆನ್ ಈ ಕರೆಜಿ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ನಿಜವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಬಂದು 10 ದಿವಸ ಆಯಿತು ಸರ್, ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದ್ದು. ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಏನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀನು ಏನು ಜವಾಬು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀಯಾ? ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದ್ದು? Then this guy, nudges his friend who was sitting next to him and he says, now his friend stands up and he says, "Avun sir, nijwaglu sir, avanu school ಬಂದ 10 ದಿವಸ ಆಯಿತು ಸರ್, ಅವನು ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್, ಅವನು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್." This guy is little perplexed and then he asks the class teacher, he says, ಏನು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಏನು ಜವಾಬು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? Then class teacher says, "Sir, ಈ ಹುಡುಗರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೋದ ವಾರ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಕಿಟಕಿ ಒಂದು ಹೊಡೆದೋಯ್ತು, ಇವರೇ ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ಇವರೇ ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿರ್ಬೇಕು." And this Yoto is fuming with anger. And in the meantime, the class teacher and the student are fighting. ಏನು ಸರ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೊಡೆದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಸೇಸ್ ನೀವೇ ಹೊಡೆದಿರಬೇಕು. This guy, with full rage, he walks out to the headmaster's cabin. Then the headmaster is surprised. He says, "Sir, itna jaldi ho gaya aapka inspection?" Then he says, No, I had gone to the classroom. ನಾನು ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದೆ. ಆ ಹುಡುಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ನಾನು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಅವ್ರ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನೇ ಹೊಡೆದಿರ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ? ದೆನ್ ಈ ಹೆಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಪಾಸಿಫೈಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಸರ್ ತುಂಬ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೋಬೇಡಿ ಸರ್, ಇದನ್ನೇನೋ ನಾವು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ನೀವು ಚಿಂತೆ ಪಡಬೇಡಿ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದ್ದು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. He says, "No, this is too much." So he goes to the principal's cabin and he says, "I'm going to cancel your license." Then the principal pacifies him and he says, "Okay, come sit down," and gives him coffee, tea and all. And then he says, "Yes, I sir." Now with all anger again, he starts fuming. ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ, ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದೆ. ಆ ಹುಡುಗ ನಾನು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವನೇ ಹೊಡೆದಿರ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ನನಗೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ ಸರ್, ತುಂಬ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಿಷಯ ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಚಿಂತೆ ಪಡಬೇಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಹೊಸದು ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ಸರ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮಾರಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ? The moral of the story is basically anything that we do, right? Very important we understand the fundamental. ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದ್ದು? ನಾವು ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದ್ದು ಶಿವಧನುಷ್ನ? ರಾಮ್. Okay. So very, very important for the business is that the Ram is your decision making, right? The Shivdhanush is your decision making. And today basically I would want to present that what are the challenges that businesses have and what are the key ingredients that are very important or critical for businesses to manage their business. So I have a small presentation. I will start with my presentation. So the thing is that skyrocket your business. So what are these 3 C's that is very, very important and very critical for any businesses? Right? So for us to, so we all know, like if you Google, you will find 5 keys. Success factor, 10, 15, 20. So broadly I have just picked up 5 key success factors which is going to basically help you to move to the next level or take your business to the next level. Of course, very important aspect is that every business, definitely you have a strategy where you have focus, leadership, management, planning, and obviously you have people, that is the strength learning, development, then operational process and business activity is another key important factor. Sales and marketing, again, it's the lifeline of the businesses, which is going to give you revenue. And the last one, the most important thing is the finance, right? So that is where basically financial information is what is going to give you, it is going to reflect the operation, it is going to reflect your business performance. So how do we use this? So reporting, analyzing, and decision making. So once you have this data with you, you can take an informed decision. So what are the key ingredients? Now how these 3 C's are going to fit into your business growth? The most important aspect for any business is managing finance. And we always have this quote, no? You don't know where the money goes. Right? So where is the money going? Right? So we have these 3 C's, which is going to definitely help all businesses to manage your business and move to this next level. The first C is cash flow management. I'm sure that all of you know that the cash flow management is going to be very, very important and very critical aspect of it. How do we manage cash flow? How do we keep track on receivables? How do we keep track on payables? And now, when I come a little later, we have very good news for SMEs, especially who are registered under Udyam. We have a great news now, which I will cover a little later. So cash flow management again is very important and very, very critical. The next one is cost cutting. See, we all know that if you see, you can basically categorize the cost into 2 parts. One is the visible cost, which basically goes into your P&L, and it impacts the bottom line of your net profit of the organization. There is another cost, which is your invisible cost, which unfortunately most of us do not concentrate on this invisible cost. So what is this invisible cost and how are we going to control? One, what are the information that we can derive from our business operation and manage this cost, and how do we cut cost on the visible cost? The next one is basically the invisible cost cutting. What are those invisible costs and how do we avoid it and how do we use? And what is the most important thing is how do we use a technology to manage our cash flow and use the cost cutting techniques that we can adopt for our business operation. So choosing the right technology again is very important, and we all know today that technology plays a very, very important and critical role. Without technology, it is going to be very, very difficult for us to manage. And one very good example of usage of technology, whether we like it or we don't like it, is the GST compliance. Right? And we know that how the GST compliance, since 1st of July 2017, it has changed the landscape of the business functioning through the adoption of technology. So whatever is the technology that we are using, so make sure that what are the techniques, so how are we going to manage this cash flow, and what are the areas of managing the cash flow that we can look into our business operation. The first major important is the receivable and payable management. So what are the things that we do? Basically using a technology, right? So if you see here, if you take the receivable and payable management, if you take party master, sundry debtors or sundry creditors, see, all this while as a business, the normal tendency for us is that we will only worry about the money to be received. Right? The person to whom I have to pay, let him wake up and give a call. Then we will decide or we will look into it. But the new thing that is going to come, especially the new amendment that has come in the finance bill, is giving you a wake-up call, and you have to keep track of your payable also, which is very important, very critical. So how do we manage? What are the things that you can do? See, basically the technology allows you to automate. So once you set up these things, automatically you are going to get the information that you are looking for. The first thing that you can do using a technology is define a credit period. Right? Now the MSME Act says that any payment that you are supposed to make to an MSME, larger company, the maximum credit period that is allowed is only 45 days. Okay, you can't have more than 45 days. Whatever is the credit period, so you can set up the credit period for each party in the technology that you are using. Okay. Then next, what are the other things that you can do using the technology? You can check the credit days during the entry. So if I have set up a credit period of, let us say, 30 days, okay, I make an invoice to my customer, and let's say that particular bill is still pending. Now next time when I'm raising an invoice to the same customer where there is an overdue bill, the technology of the system, basically Tally has been a technology partner for SME for the last 38 years. Right? So we have, in our technology, we have these kind of control mechanism that we can do. So what happens is that the moment you are trying to raise an invoice, subsequently the software or the technology is going to basically give you a warning alert saying that, hey look, there are already 2 bills pending with this person. So that you can instantaneously take a call on do you want to further invoice or what is the decision that you want to take. So that is, those things can be set up using the technology. The next one is basically you can specify a credit limit. Right? So depending on the credit worthiness of your customer base, you can set up, and also as a self-disciplinary activity, you can set up a credit limit for your supplier also. That means you can set a credit limit for yourself, for each of the supplier. The moment you set a credit limit for a supplier or a customer, any party like that, the moment the outstanding is reaching the credit limit, and when you are trying to raise an additional bill where the total value of the invoice is going to exceed the limit that you have specified, the system will not allow you to raise the limits. Right? So that's where it is going to bring control, where you cannot exceed the credit limit. So those are the things that you can set up. The next one is basically you can override credit limit with a post-dated check. So the payment is outstanding, the customer wants an invoice to be made. Now you pressurize him saying that no, your credit limit is exceeded, but I can't bill you. Now he says, okay, I'll give you a post-dated check. Let's say he gives you a 20-day post-dated check. Now you can't account it on the current date, so your credit limit will not cross. So there is a configuration where you can set it up saying that, okay, even if I'm receiving a post-dated check, the moment I make a post-dated entry, allow me to consider that amount, even though it is not a current dated check, allow me to consider this and reduce from the credit limit. So these are the areas that you can set up, especially in case of your payables and receivable management. Now quickly, if you see here, there are other aspects of so basically you have this bill-wise thing, receivable payable management. Not just you can manage your receivable and payable of your creditors and debtors, you can use this technology for leveraging the other aspect of it. For example, you can use this feature for your tracking of your EMI payment. You take a loan and then there is a monthly EMI subscription that payment you have to make. So how do you keep track of it? See, the cash flow management should basically, when you are trying to see the cash flow management, it has to give you the management of your cash flow on a real-time basis. Right? So you take a loan where there is a monthly commitment of installment, how do you record it and how do you keep track of the cash flow? So there is a system where you can keep track of this. For non-trading account, you can take it up and then do it for your installment, EMI and other things. You can also use this, leverage this feature for advance disbursement also. If you are paying advance to an employee where you have multiple advances, you really don't have to have multiple ledger master created. One single master, you can use this bill-wise to manage this. So these are the things that you can manage for better cash flow management. Now, quickly you see, how does the system gives you an alert? Like when there is an overdue bill, the system is basically, when you are billing, the system is going to basically tell you how many bills are overdue. So you get this message in the system so that you are alerted that there are bills already overdue which have not been paid by the customer. Now when you are setting up a credit limit, once the invoice value that you are raising, if it is exceeding the credit limit, in this case if you see this particular party we have given a credit limit of 5 lakh and the billing that is there, it it is 56,500 excess. So since it is exceeding the credit limit, the system is going to stop you. You cannot invoice to this party unless until the management decides to go and modify the credit limit through security control. Those things you can do that. Then outstanding report. By click of a button, basically you are going to get the outstanding report where you can see what is the amount of outstanding. Now these are going to be very, very critical, especially in case of MSME case, which I am going to cover a little later. So it is going to give you the number of days, that is the receivable, and these are the payable outstanding information that you can. Now this is what basically is the invisible cost that we are not, generally tend to ignore that, right? So the most important thing, see, all of us know that any credit that we are extending to our customer, it is an interest-free loan that we are giving, right? And the simplest credit management or the simplest credit policy that we can build is very, very simple, logical. If my vendor is giving me 30 days credit, I am happy to extend, at least to be on the safer side, 25 days credit I can extend so that I can have this buffer of 5 days. Or worst case scenario, if my vendor is giving me 30 days credit, I can extend 30 days credit so that there is no cash outflow from my end. But the problem is today, we all know that we are not going to get the money in 30 days. Right? So, probably we would have taken multiple loans or different loans for managing our working capital where we pay interest. But then to a customer today we can't state that the amount is getting delayed, we are going to charge interest. It's very rare unless we are in a monopoly business or something. Right? Now the most important thing that we are seeing, what is that hidden cost which is hitting our bottom line, is the loss of interest on the overdue amount. So if you give a 30-day credit and whenever, let's say the customer is paying you on 45th day or is paying you after 3 months, the number of days that it is overdue, you need to have an inclination or an idea of how much of money that you are losing by way of notional interest. That is very, very important, very critical. How do you handle this? Hundreds of customers, how do you handle it? So using the technology, a very simple way that you can do using most of the technology will have, whatever ERP software that you are using, definitely it is going to have. If it is not there, I would sincerely request you people to check with your vendor and find out whether they have this facility. Right? Very simple. All you need to do is just set up interest calculation at the party master level, where you can specify, okay, a notional interest of say 8% or 9% you want to see. It is like, it is doing a what if situation. Right? So you set it up one time at the master level, and then you start doing the normal transaction, make a billing, receive the money, and when you go to your outstanding statement, it is going to tell you that you are supposed to receive on 30th day, today is 90 days, the money is still pending. Or you are supposed to receive on 30th day, but you have received on 45th day. Now there is a gap of 15 days. How much of interest have you lost in these 15 days? Right? So with a simple configuration, you can, using the technology, you can configure this one time and leave it, and just by click of a button, you are going to get. So this is where we are going to track this loss of margin by way of return on investment. The next one is how to enable this interest calculation. And it is not going to impact your books of account. It is, basically you are going to just check the impact that is going to hit your bottom line. So once you set up this, when you go into the report, basically this report is going to tell you what is the amount that is overdue and what is the notional interest based on the rate, whatever standard rate of interest that you want to apply, you apply. And it is going to now tell you that for 39 lakh rupees, the company is losing 44,562 rupees as interest. And if you notice here, there is one area that I have highlighted, even though there is no outstanding amount there, you will see that 6,450 rupees is the loss of interest. So the technology or the system will automatically, once you configure it, will automatically configure and then check what is your credit period and when do you receive the money and what is the overdue number of days it has been pending, and it applies pays interest on that overdue amount. Okay? Now this is very important and very critical. But I'm sure that all of you are I'm sure all of you are aware of this MSME Samadhan scheme, right? So this scheme basically was introduced in 2006. The MSME Act introduced this scheme in the year 2006, but then it didn't have that much of traction. The seriousness was not there, right? So first of all, we'll understand what is this MSME Samadhan Act. So it says that the companies where they are procuring any goods or services from an MSME, where the MSME should be a Udyam registered MSME. How many of you are registered in the Udyam? Can I see show of hand? Who is registered? Very, very important, very critical, right? So it says it basically protects the the funds, cash flow management for MSMEs, right? So if you see here, it says that you have to, any company which takes procures service or goods, irrespective of the credit period that you have, they have to pay within 45 days. Right? So in case if they are not paying within 45 days, right? So if you are registered, if you have this your other number, right? So you can actually raise a complaint with MSME, saying that this is the party which is delayed payment, and the Act specifies that the council is going to give you a resolution for any delayed payment. As per the Act, it says this will be resolved within 90 days. So once you take to the council your grievances of non-receipt of money, okay, the council is going to take 90 days for you. Now this is further added with the new amendment in the Finance Act, which is going to be implemented from 1st of April 2024 for the assessment year 24-25, which means this is going to be implemented or it is going to be impacted for the financial year 23-24. So what is this? Very, very important, right? So any of you, now again what it says that, and any of you, if your amount is pending with the companies, right? And don't worry, before 31st March you get your money. That's what the law is going to guarantee you. We will see how and what is this law about. Right? So now if you see, if the amount is not paid, so I have taken service of goods or services from an MSME and I am not paid this party within 45 days. Right? So in that case, there is a penal interest applicable. Right? So the MSME Act says that the penal interest is going to be 3 times the current RBI rate. So the current RBI rate is 6.75, 3 times is the penal interest that they have to pay to MSME for the outstanding amount, which works out to 20.25%, which definitely is more than the NP margin that we have. And the worst part for the businesses is that the amount of interest that they are paying by way of penal interest cannot be claimed as expenses in the P&L account. This is the current situation of the MSME thing, right? Now, you have heard about this Form 1, MSME, private limited companies, or MCA companies. They are supposed to now submit this form, which is called as MSME Form 1, every half yearly. Basically they have to submit to ROC half yearly. Right? So basically what is this form? It is going to give the complete detail about what is the billing amount, okay, from the MSME that I have told you, what is the credit period and what is the credit period that the MSME gives you, and what is the type of industry, whether it is see, the MSME categorized into 3 types: micro, small and medium. Right? So that's how when you apply for the certificate, you basically provide information and you get this categorization as whether you are a micro, small or medium organization. Right? So once you, once you apply for that, you are going to, basically the companies where the money is to be paid to these organizations, they have to provide a report. There is a form where they have to give invoice-wise, party-wise detail of the amount outstanding. Even the amount if it is cleared, cleared beyond the 45-day deadline, they have to provide this information to ROC. Now, if they don't provide, what is the consequences? Non-compliance. What is the non-compliance consequences? If it is a non-compliance consequences, the minimum penalty is going to be 25,000 rupees. It will extend up to 3 lakh rupees. And with a beautifully paid holiday for 6 months is also available. 6 months imprisonment is also there for non-compliance of this. Now, what is important now? What is critical now? The MSME form statement basically, this is how, the just 3-4 days back, TADI has come out with a new release where we are covering this requirement of Form 1 for MSME, which basically gives us all this information. I mean, you will not able to, it basically gives you the complete detail of the invoice, what is the type of the Udyam registration, the amount pending, what is the credit period, even the amount is clear, basically it's going to tell you by how many days excess you have delayed the payment. This is the information, this is the data point that is required for you to fill up your MSME Form 1. So this is where basically you provide this information in the MSME Form 1. And why this is going to be very, very important, very critical, is one is that the penal interest that they pay at the rate of 20.25% is not allowed as expenses, right? Which means it is going to hit the bottom line. Now, the Finance Act is basically, under this section they have brought it. Okay, so this is going to be applicable, just now I mentioned it is going to be applicable for the financial year 24-25, which is going to be implemented, this is going to be implemented on 1st of April. So what is it going to do? Basically, what is this new section that they have introduced under this? So the new section basically it says that, hey, look, you are supposed to pay an MSME within 45 days. Right? So whatever goods you have procured or whatever services you have procured. Now, if you have not made payment to this MSME within 45 days, then you cannot claim that amount as your expenses. You have to reverse that. So for example, I have procured goods from an MSME for 10 lakh rupees. Okay, and I have defaulted, I have not paid this person within 45 days. So when I am finalizing my books of account, basically this 10 lakh rupees of my purchase, which is considered as my expenses, will have to be reversed. So this literally straight away on this 10 lakh rupees I am going to pay 25% income tax I am going to pay. That is why it is going to be very, very critical, very serious, and it is going to be a great help for MSMEs to manage their cash flow. Very, very important, very critical. Now, once I reverse it, in the current financial year, so all the amounts that is pending, all the amounts that, in fact today when I was just got on from a flight, one of my clients to whom we do an implementation, they called up and they said, there is some problem, the memory access violation problem is there in Tally, please resolve it, because I have to clear off all the MSME payment within 31st March. Normally they have 120 days credit. Now because this is getting implemented, it is going to impact their bottom line. They said, can you please make sure that within 1 hour the system becomes ready so that we have a lot of payment to be made. That is the kind of seriousness this new law is going to bring, which is going to be a fantastic cash flow management for MSMEs who are registered under Udyam. The next one is basically how do you manage cash flow. See, if you start whatever technology, again, I'm not saying that you have to use Tally, whatever is the technology that you are using, you have this cash flow. So how do you manage this cash flow? With the discipline with which you start managing your bill-wise detail, right? So have the credit period, everything, and then split up all your liabilities into monthly payments. The third one is the recurring payment. See, for you to have a proper cash flow management, how do you handle it? Because there are recurring payments where you have salaries to be paid on a monthly basis, rent to be paid on a monthly basis. How are you going to handle that, right? So once you start bringing those information into your books of account, then you are going to see your cash flow on a real-time basis. So how do we do that? So you have again, you have with the bill-wise tracking of your receivable and payable, by click of a button, you can actually, view the cash flow. So this is very important. You start keeping track of your receivable and payable with all the credit period and all those things. Okay, it is going to help you in your cash flow management. Okay, and then this is where I was talking about. You can pass an provisional transaction. So you can, for the next, let's say we are in the month of July, August. For the rest of the month, whatever is the monthly interest, whatever is your monthly rental or any recurring amount that you have to pay, you can make a provisional transaction and incorporate that information into your cash flow to see the actual cash flow position. So you have this cash flow projection. So basically, it is going to tell you whatever is the amount that is to be received, overdue amount. So you are going to now see for the upcoming month, based on your credit period that you have extended, based on your monthly commitment that you have incorporated into your books of account, not impacting your books of account. It is basically a provisional entry. Once you make those provisional entries, you are now going to have a clear view of your cash projections for the upcoming month. Now this is where basically you can start capturing all your future recurring expenses, which gets incorporated into your cash flow management. Optimizing inventory. Optimizing inventory again. Inventory again plays a very important role. We all know that the more number of days you are holding inventory, that much of working capital is getting blocked. Right? So how do we optimize our inventory? Right? So again, you see what are the key areas for you to optimize your inventory. The first one is, do we have a grip? Do we have a visibility of what are the products which are fast moving, slow moving, non-moving out of? How do I do that? What kind of data? It's a very important information that you require for decision making. So again, using a technology, by click of a button, you are going to get the information of your fast moving, slow moving or non-moving. The second aspect of it is very, very important, that what is the profit margin? Okay, if you are dealing in hundreds of products, profit, what is my GP margin? Each product, what is the profit that I am getting? Click of a button, all your item is going to basically tell you what is your profit margin that you are getting for each of them. Now this is going to give you a great insight for you to decide on your line of product that you want to add, line of product that you want to extend, line of product that you want to remove from your business line. Okay, so these information are very, very critical. Apart from that, yes, I have items which has got different GP margin. Now I have made a sale to my customer. I want to know how much profit did I make in this particular invoice. I made an invoice to this customer. Did I make a profit out of it? What percentage of GP I have made in this invoice? Can I see that? Yes, you can see that. Right? So again, the next one is that very, very important. See, today it is very, very critical for us to keep up with the commitment of the order that we receive from our customer. Right? If we are delaying, we have a great risk of losing our customer. Right? So how do we manage? You have hundreds of customers who have placed orders for hundreds of products. How can you mentally remember those things? Again, using a technology, you can have a purchase order management. By click of a button, basically the system is going to tell you what are the orders that are pending, what items to be delivered, on what date it to be delivered. If it is not delivered, whether it is overdue, by how many days it is overdue, all this information you can get using the technology. The same way, order requirement. Do you have enough material with you for you to keep up with the commitment of your sales order? Again, we have this purchase order where you can mix your sales order and purchase order. By doing this, basically you are going to basically set a reorder level. You can set a reorder level at the system level. The system is going to tell you what is the shortage you have. The moment you specify for each item what is the reorder level that you need, taking into consideration your purchase order which is pending, your sale order which is pending, it is going to now use those information and the system is going to tell you how much of material that you have ordered. So this way, you are neither overstocking your inventory nor you are understocking your inventory. So this is basically going to help you. These kind of, the functionality that you have in your technology is going to basically help you to have a chit stock. We all know JIT is a just-in-time stock, right? So that you can manage and you have a better working capital. How do we handle this? The inventory aging, again, by click of a button, basically whatever is the stock that you are having, you can set up the age. So it is 45 days, 45 to 90, 90 to 180. Now this company, if you see, 21 lakh, almost 22 lakh of inventory is lying with the company for more than 180 days. I mean, almost 180 days, up to 180 days. So these are the insights which is going to help the businesses to take a better decision and move to the next step. How do I see my item-wise profitability? You see, these are the items that I am dealing, and just by click of a button, basically it is going to tell you what is the GP that you are making on each of the product and what is the GP percentage that you are having on each of the product. You want to see invoice-wise profitability? These are my sales invoices that I have raised, and if I want to see what is the profit that I have made, because one invoice could have multiple items which is got multiple GP margin, right? So the system is going to basically tell you what is the GP that you have made in one particular invoice. So each invoice you can now see the invoice-wise profitability also can be seen. The next is you can click and view the outstanding orders. What are the outstanding orders that are there? Purchase order outstanding. You go to the information and you can see your sale order. You can compare your sale order with your purchase order, and then you can see what is the timeline that you have for your commitments. And by having all this information, you are going to get this report basically where it is going to tell you what is the order to be placed. So basically it is going to tell you, it is going to consider your closing stock, it is going to consider your pending purchase order which is yet to be delivered to you, it is going to consider your pending sale order which is yet to be delivered by you to your customer, and then it is going to consider what is your reorder level. Based on this information, the system is going to tell you what is the amount of order that needs to be placed. So it says this is the shortfall, and you can also set a minimum order level. Because some vendors they will say, I mean, like, you know, your reorder level could be 3 numbers, but whereas the vendor is going to say minimum order that you have to place would be 5 numbers. So if you can enter that minimum order level also, system is going to basically compare your minimum order shortfall and the minimum order level, and it is going to tell you what is the order to be placed. So these are very, very important and very critical for you to manage your business operations. Okay. Last but not the least, the real-time health checkup. So this is one report which is basically going to tell you the health or the performance of the organization. Okay. So you have this one report which basically we call this as ratio analysis, right, where it is going to give you very, very important and critical ratios. It is going to give you, it is going to tell you what is your working capital turnover, how effective is your working capital turnover, how effective is your inventory turnover. All this information you can get this by click of a button. To summarize, so it is very, very important, very critical that we leverage technology, we learn from our past using the information, the financial data that we get, and then we will live a better present and plan for progressive future. Thank you very much. 2 minutes.
May I now request second speaker of today's session, Sri Sushant Shetty, who is the Senior Vice President and Head, Channel Liabilities, DBS Bank India. He'll be on discussed by DBS. Over to you, sir.
Maybe as not that we could talk about the microsolar, but thank you so much. I think thank you KCCI and Pali for having us here, because our association with Tally also goes down many, many years. In fact, I was one of the people who worked when we got the whole Tally integration with DBS live in 2016-17. And some of the best lessons I think was learned in your conference room with Bharat sir, and that's how, yeah, more than Tejas is a friend, but with Bharat sir. Largely because I think what we learned out there was, when you're putting your product out, we were always in a hurry, in terms of, then let's go and launch something in the market and go and figure it out, etc. But what we did for 3 months was actually go out in the market and meet 100 customers. I would have met at least 100 SMEs across various markets in 2016 to figure out what exactly do the SME want. We started off with thinking that tax is the most important thing that impacts your life. But by the time we ended, we realized receivable and payments is the most important thing. And every SME has one, chit in his pocket as to where money is going to come from. And in fact, I met a startup 2 days back in Bangalore where I told the same story. I said, we realized we eventually solved for payments, but receivables is as critical. So there's a startup which I should tell you all in Bangalore, which has started off called Rocket Pay. They actually enable SMEs to start collecting their payments more effectively. I will talk to those guys. I will figure out, because during that discourse we understood that how important receivables are for you. So they set up match, they set up collection, and towards us, and they also give you a credit history in terms of how and when you should lend to or raise invoices to those people. So they have set that entire module up. And I think in a year's time, they have around 25,000 SMEs using that platform. So that's a little bit. Thank you so much for having us here. I'll start off by giving you all 10 minutes, maybe a quick brief on what DBS does and where we are right now in our overall journey. So DBS has been, if you go to the next slide, has been in India for around 29 years now. A large part of that 29 years was as an MNC bank. We were present in very, very limited locations, 12 locations. I've been with the bank for close to 12 years now. And in the year 2019, we became a wholly owned subsidiary in India. It's a pretty well-rated bank. It's a AA- rated bank in Singapore. It's one of the world's safest banks. We post close to $2 billion in profits every quarter. So it's extremely thick. If you have to draw a parallel, we are like SBI in Singapore. So it's, 95% of businesses in Singapore bank with DBS, and so on and so forth. The global CEO is an Indian Piyush Gupta for the last 13 odd years, and he's the one who's extremely bullish on spreading our spread across India. 2020, while the world was grappling with COVID, around that time we took over Lakshmi Vilas Bank. So today we are present in 550 branches in over 30 plus cities across India. So largely 80% of the SME coverage happens in these branches, predominantly down south in Tamil Nadu, AP Telangana and Karnataka. Go to the next slide. So I think again I endorse the fact that we are a technology first bank. In fact, when the world went into COVID, we were all ready for every kind of payment to happen digitally, whether it was A1, A2, everything. In fact, we started working from home the very next day, and none of our staff actually had to come to work. And that's when we saw a huge surge coming from Indian banks to us. We can do all our online payments. The online platform is one of the best. Everything can be accessed on the go on your mobile phones, and we are integrated with some leading players like Tally, completely end to end. So we are the first bank to go live fully integrated with Tally on the e-payment side. We also have facilities like GPI tracking for all your inwards which are coming in from all the exports that you are doing. If you go to the next slide. Yes, this is what I said. We are totally integrated with Tally. What it does is actually what anyone who handles finances will appreciate this far more. You do 35-40 payments in a day. Here you don't have to convert anything into any kind of format. I think it's a direct pipe between Tally and DBS. So you don't even have to give your online banking access to your accountant. It works on your Tally ID. You raise the invoice, it comes into DBS. You can approve it on your mobile phone, and all of that will be updated to your accounts person on Tally itself. And the reverse feed goes back into Tally. So all the RTGS, NEFT details, everything goes back into Tally. And a notification from the bank goes to all your vendors, saying that the invoice number so and so, the payments have been done. So that's a brilliant solution. We can continue to kind of build more such solutions with Tally. If you move to the next slide. And these are our, critical partnerships that we have created, which are, beyond banking. So there is so much a bank can do. Bharat sir once had said in Tally, all banks to me look like crows. We all look same. We have nothing to differentiate. So we keep trying a little bit to put a crown on the crow's head to figure out how we can do things differently. This is something that I have worked on for the last 2 years to kind of bring it up more for the startups. So if you look at it, all of these that you see on the screen are actually startups. We are taking these startups to the SMEs, to our customers to see this value. So let's say, for example, Onsurety. It's an insurtech platform. For your own staff, if you're looking at buying health insurance, you will not get a cheaper platform than this to go ahead and do it. You can get health insurance as low as 125 rupees for your employee. It also has stuff like dental insurance, etc. for your own self or for key employees. You have a Capita which does ESOP management up to $1 million free of cost. So we do a lot of stuff and a lot of networking events for SMEs. Now, if I just get look here and not do any more of the slides, I think beyond this, where the bank technically comes in, is how can we be a partner in your growth and how can we be an enabler in your growth. In fact, today, without naming, I met a customer in Mangalore itself, where he said that I can grow from 250 crores to 500 crores. But if I have a supporting bank, in fact, I was 500 crores at some time, but I've scaled down to a certain level. The whole intent is that in the bank, this is not about loans. Not everything is about putting the money out there. But it's also about being able to support your business and understanding your business better. So purely understanding, being able to guide you through an import-export transaction, being able to take you through a merchant trade and tell you, okay, this is how it works, and I'll make it less cumbersome for you to operate. In itself frees up so much time for you to focus more on your own business. What we've also done is for the guys who are into imports, the businesses which are into imports and exports, we've actually launched a zero charge variant, which basically means we will charge you nothing. So you don't have to come, spend your time negotiating with us on anything for 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 250 rupees. We are saying it's not meaningful. It's not meaningful for us, it's not meaningful for you. So we said, let's keep it zero. Don't do anything. We spoke about receivable management. We are right now getting 4.5% on current account from the start of 14 days itself. So it's not like 7% and 1 year and all of those things. So the moment you are using operating on by RBI definition for any deposits, you have to have a minimum period of 7 days. Here we are saying immediately after 14 days you can start making 4% for as low as 4 lakhs onwards. So there's no threshold that you have to be at a crore, 25 lakhs, no, none of the above. We are pushing that up. We have loans which start at 1 crore and goes up to 100 crores in the SME segment. So we do everything from receivable financing to the normal, working capital, OD, term loans, everything, export financing, import financing, everything can be done with the bank and at attractive rates. In fact, the export financing and dollar financing will be far cheaper because we have our own, dollar reserves that we can typically use for the same thing. We have, in fact, treasury management which can happen completely online. Like I said, A1, A2, right up to you can book your rates without speaking to anyone from the bank. So you can actually see the interbank plus whatever margins we've agreed on as transparent as that, and you can go ahead and look. In fact, our treasury head person was in Mangalore yesterday, meeting a few persons. Sashwat Chadha covers India for us on the SAP side as well. Apart from that, we do a lot of networking and reach out events. I think we do, for the last 2 years, we've been extremely active in the startup space, working with incubators. We are planning to support 100 startups in IIM Bangalore this year by doing 20 specific cohorts. Our intent is not to go out there and just do dinner and drinks outreach. We are even for SMEs, we are planning to do business cohorts is what we are planning to do. We are planning to have special cohorts for SMEs which will train them better on their business. So I agree, it takes a lot of into a classroom and actually tell you, okay, this is what works for your business better, and get industry experts to do it. So we are working with CRISIL, we are working with DNB to actually put those programs in place. One of the things on our agenda is also, can we run a 3-month executive course for business and entrepreneurs with some of the larger institutes in the country. So at IIM, for example, we do weekend courses. You can go on campus and can be, kind of either discounted or given to our customers at no cost. Because we believe that that is what a banking partner should do. A banking partner should somehow be able to grow your business in a more meaningful way. And that's our overall, kind of endeavor that we are doing. These loans that I spoke to you about can be availed in flat 7 days. So we launch a campaign where within 7 days we can disburse up to 7 crores of loans. So small ticket loans can happen within a week or 10 days time. Digitally, we are one of the best banks to typically go and do. Startups, like I told you, we are working with incubators across the country, offering right for free incorporation, virtual CFOs, all of those things that, absolutely no cost for the first year for the startup. So we'll be happy if there's an ecosystem developing within, Mangalore, Abbakka, and that, of course, too much action towards Bangalore. But if there's anything happening on this side, if you feel that ABA should come in and kind of put that seed is completely ready with us. So happy to associate with you all on that front as well. We now have, how many branches in Bangalore? No, that was the side of the Bangalore. We have around 4 to 6 branches, I think, across this side of the Bangalore, where Udupi, Mangalore, etc. And I think these are all fully functional branches. They get supported by our team from Bangalore as well. And we look forward to learning from you all, getting deeper, because we are new in this market. We've been speaking to a lot of people to understand how we can work more efficiently out here. You'll see people like us coming more often out here. And we understand that we are late, but we bring in the right, I think the only MNC bank which is kind of there out here. And if you are looking at new, innovative, digital, and slightly more efficient way of banking, we definitely will come in. Not at the cost of you exiting your current bankers. We respect that, the older bankers have always been there, been great support to you guys. It's not to, take over anything. Better for people to realize that never is the intent to take over. If we bring something more onto the table, we'll be more than happy to come and aid and guide your business. So we are around. I'm around with my team, and if there's anything more we need to speak, we are happy to discuss that as well. So thank you so much for your time, and that's it from me. Thank you.
For the information you have shared with the audience, I'm sure they would make the best of the inputs you have spoken today. We come to the final speaker, the last speaker of today's evening is Mr. Shreyas Bharadwaj, Account Director, ESMB South India Sales Force. Over to you, sir.
Alright, okay. So again, obviously I don't come with vast experience that sir and Sushant sir come with, right? But obviously a couple of things which I kind of look back from what they were telling, right? We from corporates definitely want to associate with the SME. The reason why, because again, SME was not the focus for us, right? Usually maybe 5-6 years back, or maybe even 10 years back, right? But today, this is the driving force that, India's economy is depending on. So for us to associate and kind of, pull out, give you the, advantage what we have, and you are utilizing it, leveraging that, it can transform the whole journey that you guys actually, are doing today, right? So having said that, I'll quickly, again, I'm not going to take much time, maybe 10-15 minutes on how Salesforce as a CRM company can be a benefit to you and how you can leverage the whole ecosystem, right? Quick thing, again, it's a quick, there's a lot of words there, no need to look there. I will quickly kind of summarize that. We're a publicly traded company, right? So for that, we would want our customers to do their due diligence and then make an informed decision. So that's pretty much there in a lot of words, but yeah, I think summarizing that, moving ahead. Now again, go back. So the thing is, everyone would be kind of surprised, right? What's the reason of having this thank you slide on the third, slide, right? Because again, it's the culture and tradition in Salesforce, right? We pretty much, before we start any conversation or we kind of, go ahead and, present something, we would like to thank the whole
show of hands, how many people know what Salesforce is? Great, at least there are some people. Great, good to know that. So Salesforce, we are a CRM company. The inception started in 1999. Again, our CEO, Mr. Mark Benioff, started out in California, San Francisco. The motto, the vision was basically to automate the customer relationship management. Basically tying up the seller and buyer, right? The seller and buyer basically did not have a system. Everything was face to face. Everything was manual. You had a lot of they basically called the briefcase sales, right? Prior to this, people used to walk around with huge briefcases, go into each shop. This is what I sell, and it's pretty much done like that. But today, through the journey of 25 years, what we've seen is everything's virtual, right? And in that journey, it's not just the customers that have grown with us. In fact, we have grown internally also, right? It's not just about developing new products, not just developing, innovation, getting new products and all of it, but we've acquired a lot of companies also, right, on this process, right? Now, having done this, we've realized one more thing, right? Having such a huge array of products and solutions, how do we make sure this becomes critical part of our customer's journey, right? That is also a very important part. So we started kind of visualizing how each industry is actually using Salesforce, because again, 10 years, 5 years back, Salesforce was very, very nascent in India. We had a very small office in Bangalore. It was in UV City, one of the trademark buildings out in Bangalore. So it was just a one floor where we had around 50, 60 people. But yeah, again, over the course in the next, I think, 7-8 years, we will be around 5,000 people across India. We have a huge office in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and all of it. So the reason, what we're trying to do today is, especially with this kind of a model, right? The advantage is what I can call what Salesforce can give to the customer, right? So moving ahead, I just maybe speak to a couple of things. Now, yeah, this is, again, if you look at this donut, right, again, we call it as a donut. It's the donut cycle. So pretty much, it's a customer-centric approach, right? Salesforce, we take a customer-centric approach. We call it as the customer 360. Now, the reason why, because again, for a business to strive, there are multiple different business models that you would need to keep in tandem so that you can run your business, right? So again, it's not just about sales, it's not just about your marketing or service, right? There are other nitty-gritties that you need to look into. Again, you have your finance, you have your HR team, you have your, maybe if you're in the manufacturing field, you have your dispatch team, logistics, supply management, multiple different things, right? So how do you keep it that, all of them, and you as a stakeholder, right, coming from the C-level, you running a business, how do you kind of make sure that everything's on a single system, right? How does, Salesforce become that single one-stop vendor for you, especially when it comes to the customer relationship, right? So this is where we pretty much started diving deep into each industry. I think this was last year, if I'm not wrong, just a couple of months back, in fact, we announced it at our RPO saying that we are going to take a different approach this year, right? Now this year, always it has been industry agnostic, so I handled all the industries. So it used to be pretty haphazard, I would put it, because having multiple industries in one person's kitty, maybe justice wasn't made. So today what we made is, we have industry-focused approach. We have people from the same industry coming, talking your language, making sure that you understand. We make sure that you understand that we know exactly what you want, and it's aligning to your use case, right? So that approach has been taken, and it has been customized accordingly. So that's another story. What again, maybe we can take it up when we are catching up, maybe for tea or something. But this is something what I wanted to quickly present. And moving ahead, now even more important is about the expectation, right? Because now I spoke about the seller and buyer, right? Now, if the seller doesn't know what the buyer wants, it is very tough. No matter what you do, the buyer is not going to buy it. So we first need to deduce this problem, figure out the crux, say, what's really the problem? How do we make sure the buyer is happy, or do we understand the expectation, right? Now, if you just look at it, there are a couple of points that majorly what the buyer would want today, right? It's, if I put it in a couple of pointers. One, they want a personal touch, right? They want that solution to be more catered to their use case. To making sure that they understand how the whole system will run end to end. Right now, what do I mean by end to end? Is taking maybe sales cycle, the lead to cash. How does lead to cash work in their use case, right? So the personal front, and I think even Google sir mentioned about technology being a very important piece of driving force, at least for your business. It is very important because today every business thrives with a digital system. So if you do not have a digital system, I'm telling you, you are maybe in some other era, right? Because without digital system, you cannot run your business. And having all of this, again, the talk of the town today is all about AI, right? Artificial intelligence. Everybody wants a piece of it. Everybody wants to know what AI is. How is it going to help me? How is that intelligence going to sit on my organization? What data points is it crunching? What kind of analytics am I pulling out? So it's all about that, right? And obviously the main part of it is how you communicate back to your customer, right? Now, you know all of these issues, customer needs all of this put across on different channels, right? Now, you would also want to, again, channels as in how do you put it across through maybe your campaigns, maybe you're throwing it across different triggered, WhatsApp messages and all of it, right? So, how do you make sure this is actually reaching to them? So, putting everything into one picture, it's more about how the seller is well equipped, right? So, if the seller is equipped, the expectation could be met. Now, why is the seller not equipped today is something what I will maybe cover a bit over here. So, again, as I said, most of the SMEs, right, they pretty much run all of their business out of maybe Excel sheets, Google Sheets, where it's pretty much, again, it's totally in different siloed systems. There is a disconnect between maybe different teams. There's no collaboration. Maybe the sales team is not talking to the service team. The service team doesn't know what kind of transaction history has been done. So putting those data points has become really tough, right? So again, having all of this done, people on the stakeholder level, they pretty much helpless, clueless. There's no visibility as such, right? They don't really understand what really is happening and how to kind of get into the problem and solve it right there and there. So again, doing all of that will end up, giving you inefficiencies and will not be that productive, right? So going ahead, what I do is I just quickly run you through one product. Right now, again, we have multiple products what Salesforce offers. Now, maybe let's take up the sales piece of it. Right now, Sales Cloud is I would call it like a digital tool, a CRM that will help you from the time a lead is generated till the time a PO comes in and you load that order. Right now, again, this is just one piece of it. So how, again, there are multiple segments in between. Once the lead is generated, now your question would be, where is this lead coming in? Which source? We will track that source for you, we'll put it up across. And again, you being that buyer, you also have another expectation, saying that, okay, now since you're tracking that source, what is the importance of you tracking that source, right? Now, the main part of it is, let's say you're running multiple campaigns, right? You're maybe running Google ads for your business, you're running Facebook ads, you're running Instagram, multiple things, right? Now, let's say traffic is coming only through LinkedIn. Why would you want to invest your monetary funds in another channel where you're not really making money out of it, right? So, or maybe leads generated through it. So, the reports and dashboards that you figure out from these lead gen mechanisms that is already there, workflows that is already there on Salesforce, gives you that upper hand and it makes it more viable for you to actually use it, right? So, once the lead comes in, again, there are multiple stages in place. Engagement activity, how your sales team actually engages with those particular prospects, or maybe it's a customer coming for a cross-sell opportunity, and once that is done, there is a deal cycle that you need to run right now. Again, in MSMEs, depending on which industry, a deal can vary from maybe just a week's time across 3 months to 6 months, a year or two, right? So it's totally dependent now. This is where the major problem occurs, Again, if it's a smaller deal cycle, not to take, again, smaller deal cycle, let's say you're running multiple deals, it is very difficult for you to keep a track of all of this, right? Now, you might write it down on some piece of paper or book or anything, but ultimately, human error is going to be there. You are going to miss out on particular points, not able to follow up on things. There are a lot of tasks which should be pending, right? So, what really happens is, the system pretty much acts like a, I would say maybe an assistant, right? It would constant reminders telling you, hey, this is something what you need to do. This is a pending task for you, and it kind of prompts, right? So again, this somewhat what we call as the intelligence that comes with the CRM that you procure. Now, another part of it, you would ask me, how does this help in a longer deal cycle, right? Now, let's say if it's a year or two, everybody has a sales team. Sales teams come, sales teams go. So how do you make sure that this data is in your repository, and when a new salesperson comes, it kind of becomes very easy for them to consume this data and kind of move ahead, right? So the system will help you, right? All of this data points are readily available. So let's say a ramp salesperson comes in after a month, he's on the go, he has all the data points, he can start working. So again, I just don't want to get into more of it because it's more technical. So as I said, lead to cash is something what we can track on Sales Cloud. Happy to take up questions on this part when we maybe catch up later on. But that's what I want to talk about. Going ahead, one use case, maybe an example use case right now, because I see manufacturing in Tier 2 and Tier 3 as a prominent industry, right? So in manufacturing, again, you would want to maybe track multiple things, right? Now, one, you have a huge dealer distributor network, because it's not always that a direct team goes in, right? It's not like you have only 5 sales guys and they run the business, right? Revenue generation is done through multiple different mechanisms, right? Now you have your dealers, your distributors. Now how are you tracking them? What kind of orders are they picking up? Do you also have a tab on their inventory? If yes, how is that helping you in turn, quoting your customers? So multiple things, right? So basically what it does is it gives you that visibility, right? It tells you, hey, this is how you are, this is how your direct team is doing, your indirect team, and what is it that is lacking, and how do you kind of change that piece of it, right? Again, apart from that, there are multiple metrics or criteria that you would want to set in, right? Sales teams, dealer distributors have different territories that map. So at the end of the day, if you want to pull out a report saying that what is happening from, let's say, take an example, right? Let's say what's happening in North Karnataka, what's happening in South Karnataka. We pull out a report to exactly know, depending on which dealer, what kind of business they have done, and what are the products that's really working out, right? Now, the major question is, if you know what kind of product is working out, it all boils down to the same question what I'm saying. Your investment becomes more, it's a more decisive, investment that you put in. So that's very important. Apart from that, yeah, we also see, a lot of different use cases in manufacturing where when a product has been dispatched, the customer receives it, and there is queries that come up, right? Maybe the product is defective, or there's some issue, there's a malfunction. So how do we kind of cater to that? Bring in a customer support team or have a ticketing tool. Quick turnaround time, in fact, increases the CSAT, right? Now CSAT is the customer satisfaction. Ultimately, whatever said and done, however good the sale was, if you resolve a customer's issue on time, I think that in turn helps you in the bigger sales. It gives you an upsell or a cross-sell opportunity, right? So, quick understanding was this. But yeah, again, this is just for one industry. We have industries that we cater to. So, I just wanted to touch base on this part. Go to the next slide. I want everybody to have a quick look at this, right? These are some numbers which we have kind of devised over the past 24 years. This is our 25th year running for Salesforce. So last year, this was the numbers what we picked up, right? So whoever's not used Salesforce, this is an average number, minimum of 25 to 30% increment in all of these criteria, right? Let it be your sales revenue, let it be the win rates, the deal cycle that you're tracking, the faster wins that you wanted is always happening. But again, these are some things which we've actually devised and we figured it out. So having said that, I would also want to give you a quick understanding about what or how your engagement cycle would be with Salesforce, right? Go to the next part, please. Now, yeah, this is the main part. I think this is where everyone's interested, right? The commercials part, how much it's going to cost, what am I going to get, and all of it, right? So, simple process. You contact us within maybe a couple of hours. You get a call from us saying, hey, we are happy to take a call with you. We'll have one of our account managers or account executives get lined up with you. We do a discovery. Now, what do I mean by discovery? It's not about me just coming and saying, what's your requirement, and I give you a solution, right? It's more of a consultative based approach. We would like to sit with you, understand your whole business in depth. again, each and every business model or departments we pick out, we see what the challenges are, we bridge them with a couple of our solutions, and then we come up with a holistic solution, right? That's an, we would put it into perspective by pushing it into a POC, showing you how the system really looks like, giving you a feeler of how our UI is. Once that is done, obviously move to the commercials. Now, commercial also is very simple. Two aspects of pricing what Salesforce offers. One is the license fee. The second one is the implementation fee. License fee is a per user per month based bill annually, which is again dependent on what license you take. And when it comes to implementation, it's a one-time fee. Now, I kind of forgot to mention this, but Salesforce we don't get into implementation. So now your question would be asking, if you're not doing the implementation, who is doing it, right? So we have a very strong network of partners and resellers across Pan-India and the global presence, right? So these partners and resellers become your trusted advisors. They help you in understanding the best practices because they would have implemented it for a similar use case, right? Maybe let's take manufacturing, where they would have implemented it for another manufacturing company, and the best practices, what they kind of saw over there, they can bring it over here. So it kind of becomes very easy for you to adopt it, and again, for the effort that they put in over the implementation time frame, they charge you a one-time fee. But the second year going onwards, it's only the license fee, it's a recurring charge year on year. So basically, we're a subscription model, right? So that's how it does. But yeah, I think having said this, this is going to be the engagement factor with us. Any other questions, happy to take it. But I think I just want to leave it with one quick video about my customer, Gemini Power Hydraulics. They're a manufacturing unit. Again, going to the next, it's a video, it's a quick 2-minute or 2.5-minute video. I have Rajiv Seth, who is the managing director. His perspective on how Salesforce changed his business model, what has he benefited, and what's his vision, right? Has he achieved that, right? So that's something what it's over there. I would want you guys to have a quick view, and then maybe let's call it off. All right? Perfect. Thanks, guys. Is a huge number. Now, if SME like him, SME like Gemini Power can do it, anybody can do it. So 60%, guys, the number should be good. So any questions, anything, happy to take them up, and let's have our collaboration started from here, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shreyas, for explaining the various tools and services. Before we wind up session, we would like to know from the members if you have any queries. We have 2 minutes where you can discuss your queries with the 3 speakers. We have Mr. Mughal, Mr. Sushant, and Mr. Shreyas here. Anything to ask, anything to know further about your services? Again, the floor is open to you. I'm sure some of you are already using the services or tools. So if you want to know something more, normally do. So I think that will be done. So we will be sending the PPT presentation so that you can go through the details later. So in addition to this, if you have anything to ask with the speakers, you can ask, or you can share your experience of using various tools in your business, which is helping you out, or it is troubling you and you want to improve on it. Anything is to have, you can discuss today. Now we have 3 experts. Okay. So in case if you have any query, you can also reach to us. I think we can also share the information with you, and you can in turn give the information and can share it with the members. Fine. Since there's no much questions, we would can we have a big round of applause to all the 3 speakers who are here, experience and knowledge in their respective field. As a token of gratitude, I may request the KCCI President, Sri Ananthesh P. Prabhu, to offer the mementos to all the speakers of this session. To hand over the memento to Sri Mughal T, who is a Senior Consultant, Tally Solutions, I now request the President to hand over the memento to the second speaker, Mr. Sushant Shetty, who is the Senior Vice President. And thank you very much, sir, for sharing your knowledge and experience. Our third speaker was Mr. Shreyas Bharadwaj, who is the Account Director, ESAP South India Sales Force. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your knowledge and insights from the service and tools. I would now request Mr. Pugalti, Senior Consultant Tally Solutions, who would like to offer a memento to the President of KCCI, Sri C.A. Anandesh Vikram. For today's event, Tally, DBS and Salesforce for being generous and having the three very good speakers who have shared their knowledge and experience. Thank you very much. Before we come to the end of the program, we would also like to inform all the members that we also have KCCI Events WhatsApp group. So in case if you are not part of the WhatsApp group, please join the WhatsApp group. We will be sending you the link. We have already sent the link earlier, WhatsApp group of KCCI. And most of your members of KCCI, in case if you are not a member of KCCI, we would like to invite you to be a member of KCCI. Please get in touch with us. We will be happy to have you as a member of KCCI. We will be explaining the process and you can collect the application form. We have now come to the end of the program. May I now request KCCI Honorary Secretary, Sri P.V. Ahmed Mudassir, to propose the program.
Very relevant and contemporary critical issues faced by most of the business, one in the efficient marketing front, the other in the financial management, as well as the third being the source of finance itself. So today's program has comprehensively addressed all prospective solutions to most of these problems. So with that, I'd like to thank the speakers of today, Sri Pugalti from Tally Solutions, Sushant Shetty from DBS, as well as Shreyas Bharadwaj from Salesforce. Thank you for addressing the gathering. I'd also like to thank the members here today present, as well as students from Yanapaya for volunteering in today's event. Yeah, thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining. And we would also like to thank Yanapaya College, who have sent 12 volunteers from Yanapaya College. Please join for the light.